me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine for a winner's mentoring session. Here on Greenlight Maine, we are helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time. I'm Don Gooding with MCED, and I'll be moderating this discussion between entrepreneur and mentors, as I often do in my day job. With us in the studio is Steve Musica of Beltane Solar, as well as three mentors who are going to help Beltane Solar work through one of their most challenging business issues. I'm going to introduce the mentors in a couple of minutes, but first, Steve, congratulations on advancing to this next level in the Greenlight Maine competition.
Thank you very much.
Well, I know a lot has been going on in your business, and we'll have a chance to talk about that in a minute. But first, just to refresh everybody's memories about what you're trying to do, let's go to your winning pitch. And then when we come back, we'll talk about a couple things that may have changed in the 6 months that you gave that pitch.
Many of the sunniest regions of the world, like California, are running low on fresh water and experiencing droughts. The water these areas do have is salty or contaminated and needs to be treated in order to grow food or be safe to drink. I started Beltane Solar 4 years ago with other engineers and business leaders who believe that simple, distributed solar-powered systems are the smartest way to provide water and energy for these regions. We are developing and manufacturing systems that will provide low-cost drinking water and irrigation water. For the dollar I paid for this half-liter of water, a Beltane system can produce over 2,000 liters of clean water using only solar energy. Our solar collectors make both electricity and heat water with a combined efficiency of over 65% in a single unit, which is much higher than typical systems. We use the electricity to pump salty or contaminated water through filters. By heating the water, we more than double the filtering efficiency. Most importantly, our system is simple to install, and we use free energy, keeping the cost of our water low. Beltane will sell to the rural regions of the world, regions that often don't have power grids and don't have alternative energy sources. Farms will buy our system so that they can provide water for crop irrigation and livestock. Water districts will purchase systems so that they can have water for homes and businesses. And just one 250,000 liter per day Beltane system can produce enough water for entire villages in the developing world. Beltane Solar has been filing patents, and we have built our prototypes and tested them at the former Naval Air Base in Brunswick. Our team has over 100 combined years of business and technical experience. We have led successful companies before and have a plan to do it again. Population increases and recurring droughts make water scarcity one of the most pressing issues of this century. Please support our vision of providing low-cost water using solar energy and help us fund a demonstration system. Thank you.
Well, Steve, it's obvious why you won. You've got a very interesting idea. Any particular highlights of what's been going on in the 6 months since you did that first pitch?
Over the last 6 months, Beltane's been part of the Clean Tech Open National Accelerator.
Very
and
cool.
we had mentors who really helped us refine and focus in our business plan on initial markets and customers.
That's awesome. Okay, so now it's time to introduce our three mentors, but with an exciting twist. Now, we all know that great ideas can come from anyone. You know, it's not about their credentials, it's about creativity. So I'm just going to give you their first names, so you're not going to know whether or not they're an entrepreneurship expert or an out-of-the-box politician. You just don't know. So I'd like to introduce you to Terry, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks, Don. Happy to be here and looking forward to making some contribution.
Okay, and in the middle we have Steve. Thanks for being here as well.
You bet. It's exciting to see entrepreneurship taking place in Maine.
Yes, there's lots of it. Now, you all have to be ready to ask some great questions. And on the far end, we have Sue. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm also very excited to be here today and participate in this wonderful discussion.
Yes. So there we have it now. So we've got the winning entrepreneur who's got a great idea. You've seen the pitch. We've got the 3 mentors who are ready to help on this big business question. But we're not going to get to that question right now. Instead, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back to talk about all of that here on Greenlight Maine.
We're standing by and ready for the call.
I need you out on 202.
We gotta get the hospital back online. In any weather, under any conditions, we're ready. When you lose power, there's one thing you can count on. We'll be ready to roll.
It doesn't take much to change your entire travel experience. It's more than a flight, it's the whole trip. Connect to your world with daily non-stop flights to Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, and New York City. Portland International Jetport. Way better.
Please join us to find vital information on our website at greenlightmaine.com and be a part of our vibrant community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Together, we're building Maine's future, one dream at a time.
We're back at Greenlight Maine with a winning entrepreneur and 3 anonymous mentors all ready to dig into a challenge to growth. So, Steve, you've made great progress getting into Clean Tech Open. So what is the big challenge that your business is facing now?
Our challenge right now is we need to build a demonstration system to show investors, but we need capital in order to build our demonstration system.
Oh no, that chicken and egg. Well, that definitely brings up lots of questions in my own mind, but Terry, I'm going to throw it to you for that first question.
So Steve, I was wondering how you've thought about the capital that you need. And so you're thinking about getting an investor to supply the capital, but have you thought about how to define an investor? So what I'm leading towards is that your idea is so unique and has such impact, potential impact on the greater good, that I'm thinking you could rope in a university, a foundation, somebody else who you could collaborate with to help create the system that might not be a true or a typical source of capital infusion?
Yeah, so who are the potential sources of capital here?
What we've looked at is we would really like to sell our system as much as we can, or at least sell the water that we produce with our system. Of course, if we sell the water, that is future income and future revenue, and we would still need that upfront capital.
Yeah, but it also validates the fact that people are willing to buy it, which is a really important thing to potential investors. Steve.
In your winning previous presentation, you talked about the size of your system. I think it was a 1/3 of an acre powers the overall system. My biggest question for you is scalability. To what extent can you bring that down to something that doesn't require covering a full 1/3 of an acre with panels, that presumably lowers the size of the pumps and the motors that are necessary to move your water through your system? Can you give us a sense of that might provide how we could scale down the financial need?
Absolutely. In the summer, in the last 6 months, we've actually increased our size of our system. We can actually go larger now, up to 750,000 liters of water a day. The low side for us would be more like 50 to 100,000 liters of water a day. And that would be a decent spot to start. One of the things we do want to do, though, is we want to have a system that is large enough to actually be a demonstration system for the future. So we anticipate that our first system, not only does it validate us, but it also becomes a showcase for other customers in our target market to look at and say, I want one of those too.
Interesting. Sue, question from you.
Yes, I'd like to build on what Terry was talking about, investors, and kind of branch out into governments, and even third world countries, and even the United States, or the governor of California, where some of this water is really needed, and maybe looking at
Department
grants.
of Agriculture, yeah.
Yeah, looking at grants and not just financial investors. And have you thought about that avenue?
We absolutely have. We've looked at a number of federal grants. I think what we've been most excited about lately are some of the state of California grants. They offer a number of grants that we wouldn't be able to obtain directly, but our customer would be able to get them and then use that to purchase the system, which minimizes their risk. And
I had a question,
yep.
follow-up question on that.
Sure,
if
yeah,
you don't
absolutely.
mind.
No, go for it.
And that is, when you talked about delivering low-cost water, how do you balance keeping the cost low with making your company profitable?
Interesting, yeah.
So our business model allows us to sell the water at a price that is low for the customer, but still allows us to make enough of an income.
Good. So I'm going to ask a question then. So if 50 to 100,000, whatever the unit was, is the right number, so what does that equate in terms of dollars of investment for a demonstration system?
With a system, any system will have a number of upfront costs that have to do with the engineering.
Yeah.
And then there's a number of costs that have to do with scaling to the size of the system. I think that a smaller system for us is likely to still cost $750,000 to $1 million for the first system.
So that's about the size that you're thinking about. Terry, thoughts on that?
Well, I guess I'm going to go back to my initial thought, which was, are there opportunities to partner with a university, for example, like, UMO has a pretty interesting R&D focus. And I'm just wondering if there are ways to kind of get that first system built through a partnership versus just a pure capital infusion.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that is definitely something that we are interested in pursuing.
Got to find the right partner for that. Yep. Steve?
Well, and presumably some of your primary equipment suppliers could be contingent partners. I don't know if it's the solar panel producers or the motor producers, or if there are special membranes or what it takes. But some of them ought to be able to see a new source of sales that would provide an avenue for a flow of their product that would help you out.
Have you been able to pursue that at all?
Yeah, I think what we are also pursuing is ways we can leverage some upfront benefits where they maybe give us better terms on some of the products, and then we pay them after we get some of the money.
Okay.
So favorable terms there.
Well, great. So it's now time, amazing how fast it goes by, for all of you to provide some initial thoughts of what you think Steve ought to be focusing on to address this chicken and egg problem.
Well, one thing that came to my mind as I was looking at your video and doing a little bit of research was how have you thought about your distribution? How are you going to get your product out there in the field? So you mentioned it would be produced on site. There's some initial design and development here and then produced on site. Seems to me that the distribution and the installation could be the biggest knothole that you have to work your way through, because you're out in an environment that you can't control, and especially if you're going into the developing world, there's all sorts of factors. So I'm just curious and wondering how you've thought that through.
Okay. Steve, your initial thoughts of what he should be focusing on.
To me, it's scalability. Have you truly brought the system and done the engineering to bring it down to the most financially manageable opportunity?
And Sue, your initial thoughts on what he ought to be focusing on?
Well, to me, permitting and siting could be a potential big hurdle it's certainly in the United States, and I would expect third world countries would be a little bit skeptical going in as well.
All sorts of important issues. And Steve, you're going to have to sit there and ruminate as we go to a break, because we've heard from the mentors. And how about you out in the audience? What are your thoughts about how to address this challenge? Feel free to post those thoughts on Twitter at #GreenlightMaine or on our Facebook page. We'll be back after a break with our entrepreneurs' reaction to all of these ideas here on Greenlight Maine.
We help businesses increase sales. We help increase sales by providing business owners, chief executives, and marketing managers with effective advertising strategies and marketing campaigns. We help businesses increase sales by providing practical advice and tactical plans that are meaningful and measurable. We can help your business increase sales. Find out how at SutherlandWeston.com.
Hi, Ross here for Dysart's Restaurant. Everyone's having meetings, meeting about this, meetings about that, meeting about meetings. How ridiculous is that? Got a meeting? Meet at Dysart's Broadway. Look at my chart. Dysart's Broadway's got 3 meeting rooms. A big one, a bigger one, and an even bigger one. And the big one and the bigger one can combine to be even bigger than the even bigger one. How ridiculous is that?
Great food, great service, and a great place for your meeting. Dysart's Broadway.
Big and bigger's bigger than even bigger.
Dysarts.com.
Ridiculous.
I'm not thinking about health insurance all the time, but when I do, I know that Community Health Options is there for us. Whether we're getting a checkup, a test at the lab, or we're in the hospital, Community Health Options is there every step of the way. They'll help you get the most of your prescription benefits and manage any ongoing conditions, so you can think about other things.
Member-centered Community Health Options. Sign up or re-enroll for 2016 at healthoptions.org.
If any of you in our television audience has a big idea, we encourage you to visit greenlightmaine.com for a list of resources and information about starting your own business.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We've heard about our Entrepreneurs Challenge, and we've heard some great ideas from our anonymous mentors. So, Steve, out of all those ideas, and we talked about a lot, which one would you like to spend a couple more minutes talking about here?
So I heard 3 great ideas, distribution, scaling, and permitting. I think we've definitely addressed the permitting a lot. We probably don't need to talk about that. Our solution really addresses permitting and makes it much easier because we can eliminate the discharge of brine waste with our system.
So what would you like to talk about?
So I think maybe the scaling would be a good topic. It's certainly we can go from 50,000 to 100,000 liters all the way up to 800,000. The challenge I think we have is having a large enough system that is a true demonstration, as opposed to what someone who's a customer would look at and say, well, that's nice, but it's much too small for me.
Any thoughts on that? I mean, how big do you think he needs to be? I mean, what is it about a 50,000 versus a 750 that might make an investor say, oh, no, that's easy, oh, that's amazing?
So some of our best customers are actually farmers and people who need irrigation water. And the reason for that is that when we remove salt from water, we can drink more salt than actually plants can tolerate. So it's the farmer who's a great market, but farmers typically use lots of water. So a bigger system would make a bigger impression on a farmer.
Thoughts on, yeah,
but can't you scale a system such that you take a brine compound, run it through your system regardless of size, and show them the particulate matter or the percentages post-treatment? It really shouldn't matter how many liters, gallons you've created in that process, so long as they can believe at whatever scale they need, you can ratchet it up.
And that's probably a better way to get started, just so we can at least get that demonstration system there. And it does scale.
And is it your system modular so that if you did the first 50,000, you could easily add another 50 and another 50? And then maybe the farmer gets so excited that, hey, I want to buy it myself.
Yeah, we're designed that way. So yes, that is certainly doable.
It seems like that's, the classic minimum viable product, right?
Exactly.
The MVP. So I'm agreeing that I don't think you need to build this behemoth just to answer the question of, does it work at scale? If it works at a smaller scale, it should be able to be extrapolated.
And now I'm going to get to the part where we see why what these folks are saying is something you should be listening to. So, the reveal. So, our first panelist.
My name is Terry Sutton, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Davo Technologies, which is itself a startup in the software space. It's a automated sales tax solution.
And an MIT engineer undergrad and a Harvard Business School graduate, by the way.
My name is Steve Sly. I'm president of Pingree Associates. We represent one of the largest sustainable forestry organizations here in the state of Maine. We've been practicing sustainable systems for 140 years.
So well connected into the whole sustainability community that you're trying to serve. And then?
And I'm Sue Clary. I'm with Central Maine Power Company. I am the Director of Electric Supply, and I've been there for 30 years.
Yes, so all about power. So once again, we've tried to pull together a great community to hopefully be of help to you going forward. And I'm sure these conversations that we just were able to start at the beginning, we're going to continue on afterwards. So now that we've know the identities of our three mentors, it's time for a short break, and we'll be back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine. All right.
As a leader in Maine and New England in providing integrated accounting, consulting, and tax services to clients large and small, the team at MacPage has proven to provide innovative solutions to help us better meet our clients' needs. We enjoy the people we serve and care about the work we do. The success of our business is based upon our ability to develop quality relationships, one client at a time. MacPage. Accessible, approachable, accountable.
Hi, I'm Janelle, your customer service representative at Central Maine Power. Flip a switch. Tap a key. Twist a dial. Ever wonder how much electricity you use in a day? Now you'll know. Introducing your personal energy manager. It works with your smart meter so you can track your energy use online, hour by hour, day by day. Know your own power.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
We're back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine, and I want to start by thanking the three mentors who have come on the show, because mentors are so important for the progress of companies, as you know very well from your experience in Clean Tech Open, right? So I want to give you all one more opportunity to share a final thought for Steve going forward. So, Terry?
So, Steve, I would, I guess, encourage you to think about strategic partnerships, building a little bit on Steve's idea earlier about other elements of, I'll call it the food chain of your product, and think about who else could be useful to you, whether they're directly involved in that or indirectly, either at a foundation level or at an academic level, because I think it's too easy for entrepreneurs to fall into the trap of thinking I can do this all myself. And you may, but it may take a lot longer and you may run out of money. So, to the degree that you can collaborate and bring others in, I think you'll end up being more successful.
Great. Steve?
And we didn't plan this, but I absolutely agree with what Terry just suggested, because there are multiple entities and individuals in the state of Maine who are already in a less organized way pursuing what you're doing. They're all about clean water, and they're all about renewable energy. Maine is blessed with both. I can think of entities that I know receive significant annual charitable contributions to go to Central America and help clean up water supplies down there. Not the way you're talking about it, but other ways. And there are also companies like SunEdison here in Maine that are all about solar energy and might be willing to help you and become one of those partners with material, expertise, contributions of systems that will help it work.
Sue, quick final thought?
Okay, no, I was thinking that, Efficiency Maine Trust certainly helps a lot of people in the energy sector, and, get in touch with people like the people that run, Mike started it at Efficiency Maine Trust, might be one avenue to opening up other areas of funding for you.
Awesome. Lots of resources here. So, Steve, any major takeaways, things you're going to be doing different going forward?
No, I think this was all great feedback. Certainly, university partnership, I thought it's a great idea, and the minimum viable product always makes sense.
Yes.
So,
good.
Yeah.
Well, glad to hear that you're making progress. So, best wishes for the success of your business, and as well, success as you move on to the next phase of the Greenlight Maine competition. Which reminds me, speaking of that, make sure all of you out there watch our Facebook page and greenlightmaine.com for announcements about that rest of the competition. So we're going to have a live event to narrow down our 13 competitors to 2, followed by the final 2 weeks of our online competition, where you get to pick a wild card, which will then be on the stage for a televised championship event where one of the 3 companies is going to walk away with $100,000. We're also going to let you know when we start accepting video pitches for next year's competition. Yes, Greenlight Maine is going to be coming back. And remember, if you want to start your own business, greenlightmaine.com has lots of resources for you. So make sure you keep thinking big and keep the positive feedback coming, especially for the companies that you see on the show. Because together, the Greenlight Maine community is helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by Central Maine Power. Flip a switch and we're there. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you. Prize money for Greenlight Maine provided by Maine Accelerates Growth through a grant by the Maine Community Foundation. Outreach and community engagement in partnership with Maine Startup and Create Week. Furniture for Greenlight Maine provided by Thomas Mosier. Handmade carpets for Greenlight Maine provided by Mugalian Rugs. Broadcast facilities provided by the New England School of Communications at Husson University.
Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.